Yeah, this is probably the first time I've been, you know, this. Am I gonna say excited, or am I just gonna say this happy in terms of a result for a long while? I mean, again, I'm not really someone that is well. You guys know I'm not a massive fan of the manager, but I think the fact that we beaten Liverpool at Anfield as well, and it was a game really that was decided, in the first, well, not well, the first 2 minutes. And for me, as I said, man, I think yeah, it's more the fact that United beat Liverpool. Big Harry Maguire scoring the header. And again, you know what it is with Harry Maguire, yeah? Harry Maguire has to be given credit because this guy has come under massive criticism. Do I still believe Harry Maguire should be a starter for Manchester United? Do I believe Harry Maguire should be at Man United still? I'm still going to stick to what I've originally said, and that is no. But yeah, we can't hide from the fact that Harry Maguire, man, he does come up clutch when he needs to. And as I said, man, it's one of them things where Harry Maguire has to be given credit. You know what I mean? Because he's been vilified really, whether it's from fans, from media, from rival fans. And the guy does step up, man, when his team needs to. As we know with Harry Maguire, there probably isn't a better aerial player in the league. He's probably the best in the air in the league, and that's above the likes of a Van Dijk as well, I believe. So yeah, listen, man, big up to Harry Maguire, man, for the winner. Um, Big up to Fitz, big up to Barbara Joseph as well. Big up to Chris and Mark in there. Right, guys, we are going to get on to a few of the performances because there was a few performances in there that were poor. And as I said, man, the result yesterday, I think the main thing is the result. The main thing is the result. I think next game's against Brighton, Saturday, 5:30. And for me, United need to bring the confidence, they need to bring this win into the next game at home against Brighton, which won't be easy. Again, Brighton coming off a 2-1 win against Newcastle at home. So again, it's going to be another tough game, but we have to bring it into that next game. And yeah, I just think if Man United don't win this game against Brighton, you can kind of look at the fact that that this win won't really mean much. And as I said, do I believe he keeps the same team that started against Liverpool? Well, I hope not. I hope not, because I do think there are certain players that do need to come in, But as I said, man, Harry Maguire, Harry Maguire actually played well yesterday. And the thing is, the header, we've seen Maguire do this so many times. But if we're being honest with you, like this should be an isolated game. I don't want to see Harry Maguire starting week in, week out at Manchester United if we're being serious. Again, the lineup from yesterday's game, and big up to everyone that come through for the watch along as well. The lineup for the game yesterday, I predicted a lot of the team that he was going to play with. But what I would say, it's one of them things where the back three, I mean, Lenny Yoro for me, why Lenny Yoro's not starting games, I don't know. And I did say as well, the fact that Maguire started, it was confusing because you think of the fluid front three that Man United have, that Liverpool have. You look at Isak, you look at Mo Salah, and you look at Cody Gakpo. It's like those three are very fluid, and you think to yourself, there will be no point Maguire playing this game. I think the only reason Maguire started this game is because of his experience being away at Anfield. But I definitely do think if it was at Old Trafford, I don't particularly think Maguire starts. I think he only started that game because it was at Anfield and his experience would be key. And to think that he got the winner, it just makes it even better for the selection, really. But I don't think he should have started the game. But on the other hand, as I said, him getting the goal, and to be fair, he had a very good performance as well. I thought he was decent in the game. is what matters really. So yeah, man, thoroughly happy with that result. You know, performances of some of the players. I thought Matthias de Ligt again, you know, playing at right side centre back. For me, right now, there ain't a better defender. I'm not even going to say in the league. I don't think he's a better defender in Europe than Matthias de Ligt. I think de Ligt's the best defender right now in Europe. You know, I'd argue that with anyone. I don't think there's no one playing as good as de Ligt in defence right now in world football. You know, I think he's that good, Matthias de Ligt. And again, he's the real captain for me. Him and Casemiro, they're the real captains of this team. And I thought de Ligt again was flawless in that performance. Luke Shaw, to be fair, had a good game as well. And this is what Luke Shaw does, though. You know, Luke Shaw, let's face it, the fact that Luke Shaw is staying fit now and has been given chance after chance and he just finds his way back in the team, this is what Luke Shaw does. And there was one instance where I think Liverpool broke in the second half, and this is what Luke Shaw does with his recovery pace. You know, the fact that he managed to get round and, you know, and cover. Who was out of position? I forgot who it was. I think it was Cody Gakpo that was running through, and Luke Shaw's pace just managed to, you know, see out the danger. And I think it went out for. Oh no, sorry, it went to a foul. I think it was a foul by Gakpo. Yeah, it was a foul on Luke Shaw. Guys, I will get back to your questions. Big up yourselves as well. We're just gonna go. I'm just gonna go through some of the performances, and then again, make sure your questions and comments still come through. And yeah, I will be getting back to some of your questions and comments. But big up. So yeah, Luke Shaw I thought was good. Again, Maguire we've spoken about. Sene Lemens, you know, Lemens with another solid performance. You know, guys, I want to touch on as well the chance that Isak had, because I think a lot of people would probably be looking at that as a great save. For me personally, it was a poor finish from Isak, because when you're actually thinking about it, guys, yeah, when you're 1-0 down so early on in the game, that chance that Isak had, which a great ball from Gravenberch, this is where composure and this is where intelligence comes into it. Because being in that position right there, you know, that isn't a side foot finish in terms of how the game was going. Because if you're looking at the fact that yeah, so because if you're looking at it where you've got Man United 1-0 up against Liverpool, if Liverpool were 2-3-0 up, Isak could have afforded, yeah, to have that side foot finish. But when you're 1-0 down so early in the game, just put your foot through the ball. So I think he gave Sene Lemens a chance to make the save rather than just putting his foot through the ball. And as I said, man, it's one of them things where he gave him a chance to make the save. And for me personally, I think it was more of a poor finish from Isak rather than a good save. You know, I think if we're looking at it honestly, you know, I think the fact that Lemens, you know, his positioning for the save was very good. But I do definitely think, man, Isak should have scored that. But I think in terms of Lemens' kicking, you know, his handling as well, there was one where the ball was high up in the air and it looked like he misjudged it. So, but yeah, listen, there's no complaints from Lemens, really. I mean, did he get fortunate on a few of the shots? You know, you think of Cody Gakpo hitting the post twice. Obviously, the deflected cross that come off Bruno that hit the bar as well. So yeah, listen, man, I think he definitely does have to be given credit, man, for the calmness that he's bringing to the back line. But I'm going to stress this once more. You know, it's only 2 games. There will be other tests, tougher tests ahead. And it depends how he comes through it. You know, I think a lot of fans will be getting excited over Lemens. But let's just keep it under, you know, realistic expectations for now. I think at the moment, it's been a good couple of performances from Lemens. But as I said, man, there's going to be tough times ahead, man. So, but yeah, another good performance. Moving on to the wing backs. Again, I hate seeing Ahmad as a wing back, but again, when you've got Ahmad, you know the kind of talent that Ahmad is one of United's best players. You know, he's inside the top 2 best players for me at United. And when I'm seeing him play at wing back in this system, you should have your most talented players, your most crucial players, in the attacking part of the team. And the fact of the matter is, yeah, he for me, he for me personally is doing too much defensive work. But that was the Ahmad of old, man. In yesterday's game, I thought him and Mbuemo yesterday on that side. Yeah, I think they were very good. Big up to Barbara Joseph with a super sticker. Big up for yourselves each and every time, guys. As I said, if you keep your questions coming in, once I've finished discussing what I'm going to discuss, I will get back onto some of your comments. So yeah, make sure you're smashing the like button as well. There's 27 of you in there and only 6 likes. So guys, smash the like button, support the channel, and make sure you're subbing to the channel if you're new in here as well. Obviously, Manchester United winning the game yesterday. Obviously, big up to everyone that come through with the watch along as well. So yeah, man, in good spirits. In good spirits. Finally, I think for me personally, it's more the result. Do I want this manager here still? No, I don't. But listen, let's just be excited because of the result against the rivals, and that's what needs to be focused on. So yeah, Ahmad for me, another great performance. I think surprised to see him come off. Obviously got the booking, and obviously Amorim took him off because he didn't want to risk him getting sent off. And was that the right decision? I don't think it was. I think he should have trusted Ahmad personally, but he made the change, and in the end, it paid off. Diogo Dalot on the left-hand side, and I did say Dalot was going to start, and Dalot personally, for me, was always going to start, and it was more to nullify Mo Salah on that right-hand side. And again, we're going to get into the Liverpool performances after. And guys, make sure I'm going to be live today at 5 o'clock with Jonas. Jonas is a Liverpool fan. So, yeah, make sure you guys come through at 5 o'clock. And we're going to be talking, man. We're going to be asking him some serious questions as to where do Liverpool go next, go from now. So, yeah, make sure you guys come through at 5 o'clock. As I said, me and Jonas, Liverpool fan, we're going to be live at 5 and we're going to discuss this Liverpool fallout, man, because, yeah, they're in trouble, man. 4 games on a bounce, 4 losses. Who would have thought that, man? Who would have thought that? And we're going to discuss a few players as well. So, yeah, make sure you guys come through. So, yeah, Dalot for me, I thought Dalot was decent. I think Dalot was more there for the protection for Luke Shaw on that side. I think, again, we're going to Liverpool's team, but I think he made a couple of errors for me on a slot in his team selection. But, yeah, I think Dalot was decent, to be fair. I don't think Dalot was outstanding. But with what Dalot had to do, yeah, I thought he was good, to be fair. I thought he was all right. But, again, am I taking anything from this game? Really? I'm not. I thought, I've seen a lot of people say that United actually played well. I disagree. I think United had spells, where they were passing the ball around good. There was a couple of bit of plays there in the first half, where United were looking to get in down the sides. And there was some good play, but I think if we're being honest, yeah, you take away the 1-0, United being 1-0 up so early on in the game, I don't think a lot of people say United played well, because the game that I saw, United didn't play well for me. I just think they got the early goal, and did Liverpool do enough to win the game or to come back into it? I mean, they were unfortunate really to be hitting the bar and hitting the post twice. But I think Man United didn't really do enough for me to win that game. I just think, luck played its part. We'll talk about Bruno Fernandez in a minute, because Bruno Fernandez was poor for me, very poor in that game. And I did say the chance that he missed, and a lot of people, yeah, will be ignoring the fact because Man United won the game, and then people will tell you Bruno got the assist, and this is what Bruno Fernandez does, yeah? He stinks the game out, and then all of a sudden, because he's on every set piece, even the ball fell back to him. I think the ball he put in, to be fair, was a decent ball he did put in, but then he comes away with an assist, and this is what Bruno does. He plays poor for the majority of the game, misses a massive chance, really, that would have put United 2-0 up, and then gets the assist for the winner. And then, again, his performance is forgotten about. And this is what Bruno does. So, again, people can support Bruno all they want. Again, you're free to your opinion. But what I will tell you, yeah, is I'm someone that is very confident and very solid in my opinion. And there's no one that's gonna change my mind on Bruno Fernandez. No one. So again, I know there's a few of you in the chat that do rate Bruno, and fair enough. But if you rate him, that's your opinion. You're not gonna change my mind because, as I said, I've seen too much football to know that this player isn't what he's made out to be. You know, I think he's a decent player, but the way he's talked about is ridiculous. Let's be honest. You know, Bruno Fernandez, for me, his best quality is his availability, without doubt. The guy is probably one of the most reliable players in terms of being fit every week. But that game yesterday, he weren't great. He wasn't. You know, he was losing the ball. I mean, there was parts of the game where he was keeping the ball, but the majority of the time, you know, he was losing the ball, and that chance that he missed, as I said, man, was a massive chance. And if Liverpool would have come out of that game with a draw or even a win, then that chance there would have been looked at. But the fact that United win the game and he gets the assist, people are going to be ignoring that. And for me on this channel, you're always going to get the honest truth, man. So we're not going to shy away from things that need to be spoken about. So yeah, as I said, man, I don't think he was great, but I think what people will look at is the assist to Harry Maguire. And I think it's more important to just focus on the fact United got 3 points. I think that was just the only objective, to get the 3 points. I think anything moving forwards needs to be looked at, because that game against Brighton, as I said on Saturday, Man United need to be at home winning that game. You know, I don't want to see a draw. I think it needs to be a win. And if it's anything other than a win, then this game against Liverpool is going to be, you know, it's going to be only for bragging rights, really. You know, so, but let's see what happens. Casemiro, do you know what? These are the kind of games where Casemiro, you know, he goes under the radar. You know, the amount of times Casemiro was, you know, putting out fires, you know, his interceptions, etc. His leadership in there as well. I think a lot of people probably don't realise how important he is to that midfield. You know, again, is that a midfield of Bruno and Casemiro that is going to be a midfield that's going to do anything this season moving forwards? Not for me. But I think we have to look at the fact that Casemiro was a crucial part in that game yesterday before he came off. And as you can see, when Ugarte come on, that midfield fell apart. Definitely. So, yeah, Casemiro, man, I thought he had a decent game. Again, not one of his best. But in terms of, like, putting out fires and in terms of him, you know, holding his position, you know, and providing, you know, that the foundation for the defence to push up as well, I thought he was important for that. And as I said, having Ugarte and Bruno as a midfield too, you know, you're not going to do much with that. And then obviously Kobe come on as well, which, yeah, that midfield's a problem. But as I said, man, Casemiro was very good when he came on, when he played the game. Moving forwards, I mean, Brian Mbeumo, you know, Brian Mbeumo should have been the successor to Mo Salah for Liverpool. And obviously, we've got Brian Mbeumo. And again, Mbeumo, for me, he's still got gears to go into, 100%. He's still got gears to go into. But for me, I think the fact that he got the goal early, you know, his confidence would be up. And the fact that, as I just said, you know, he was the replacement that should have been for Mo Salah. You know, I think in hindsight, people don't really look at these things. But I look at in the league now, and there's only 2 players for me that could offer a similar threat to what Salah does. And that's Mohamed Kudus and Brian Mbeumo. One's at United, one's at Tottenham. And again, we're going to get onto Salah a little bit. But obviously, we're going to be live at 5 with Jonas as well. So we'll probably get into it a bit more. But yeah, Mo Salah for me. I mean, Brian Mbeumo for me. The finish, you know what I would say? I think if that's Alisson in goal, I think Alisson probably saves that. Because if you look where the ball went, it was on Mbeumo's right foot. And I think Mbeumo got just enough power onto the ball to get it in the goal. But I think if that's Allison, I think Allison probably gets a stronger wrist to it, and his positioning probably is slightly bit better. So Allison probably does save that, you know. But on the whole, Embuemo getting the early goal, and yeah, Embuemo getting the early goal. Maybe 1 minute, guys. 1 minute. Yeah, so Embuemo getting the early goal. Um, and it's one of them things for me where yeah, obviously the incident that happened with Van Dijk and McAllister and Embuemo, yeah, you can clearly see what happened. Van Dijk obviously went into the back of McAllister. I mean, people would say he should have been blown for a head injury. I think it's difficult because if that was a Man United player that actually collided with McAllister, it probably does happen like that because they're at a disadvantage. But I think the fact that it was his own teammate, and again, Van Dijk's reaction to that was poor because it was Embuemo that was involved in it. And look at Embuemo's reaction once the ball went to United player. So he reacted like a forward should, and Van Dijk was trying to pass it on to Konate really. So I think in the sense of Van Dijk, you could arguably look at Van Dijk being the captain, being the leader, being at fault for that. Because if Van Dijk would have just matched Embuemo's run, he probably blocks the shot, you know, and then Mamadashvili in goal probably should have got a better fist to it as well. But again, Embuemo, man, there's more to come from him. Do I think Embuemo's performing to the level that I see at Brentford? He's not. But, I mean, he got the winner, and that's what matters, man. So yeah, that's it. Mason Mount. I thought Mason Mount in the game was ineffective. I mean, I see why he started. Sorry, I see why he started Mount. He started Mount because Mount presses the ball, you know, and Mount's got a lot of energy. In a way, at Anfield, you're probably going to need his energy. Even though, for me, I think it's more of a case of giving the opposition a problem rather than starting someone that could match the physicality and the intensity of Liverpool. Because if you look at Mount didn't really offer nothing in the game but legs, and obviously he came off as well, so which wasn't a surprise. But I don't think he really done that well, in my opinion. I thought Sesko would start, but he wasn't, and I think Mount, yeah, as I said, Mount played because of his legs, but yeah, I think next game does Mount start the game. That's what's going to be interesting because I reckon the team he goes with next game is going to be Embuemo, Sesko, and Cunha. I don't think Mount starts this next game, you know. So that's what I think the manager does. And then Matthias Cunha. And guys, listen, when Man United were linked to Matthias Cunha, you know, I was actually surprised because I was thinking, you know what, Man United are not going to get a free run at Matthias Cunha. There's going to be other teams that surely will be in for Matthias Cunha. To think that Man United relatively had a free run at Cunha, I was shocked. And to think that the performance he put in yesterday, and again, a lot of it wasn't, he wasn't flawless in his performance, Cunha. But what Cunha has, yeah, he has the drive, the determination, the heart, and he's got quality to match all those things. Not to mention, his ball carrying is ridiculous, you know. The amount of times he can ball carry the ball and he's got strength to hold off players is ridiculous. And again, I remember when Man United played Wolves, first game of the season, Cunha's first game of the season when he was at Wolves, he was doing very much that, you know, up against, I think United beat Wolves in the end 1-0. But if anyone remembers that game, Cunha was doing exactly that with his ball carrying. And some of his touch, some of his touches, his strength, you know, his never say die attitude. You know, this is why he's the real talisman of the team. You know, this is why he's got number 10 on his back, because he's probably the closest player to like an Eric Cantona in terms of a maverick and in terms of the attitude that Man United have right now. And for me, yesterday, he was Man United's best player. I think him and De Ligt yesterday were by far Man United's two best players on the pitch, you know. And as I said, closely followed by Ahmad. Because I think literally, like, when you play the ball up to Cunha, you can rely on Cunha, you know, holding the ball, you know, and drawing a foul. And I think games like that against Liverpool at Anfield, where, you know, their crowd's going to be on top of you. You know that the way they play with their high intensity. You need someone that is going to be that is going to do something a bit different. Hold on to the ball, bring others into play, and and use his strength and skill to get out of tight situations. And the amount of times that Cunha done that to relieve the pressure, this is why, man, for me, it's a great signing. And as I said, he was definitely one of United's best players yesterday. So yeah, man, happy with the result. But as I said, moving forwards, am I going to change my mind on the manager? No, the manager still should be sacked for me. I think all we can really do is just be happy with the result. I think anyone now saying the manager needs to stay, and again, I'm not really going to talk about Ruben Amorim. Do I think he how long is he going to stay for? Do I think he's going to get sacked? I think the very fact that he and again, I did touch on this yesterday. The very fact that Man United didn't sack Ruben Amorim last season for finishing 15th, for losing the Europa League final to Tottenham, for getting beat by Grimsby Town, for having the worst win percentage as a Manchester United manager, like all these negative results, records that he broke. Yeah, I'm not going to get into the conversation of saying is he going to stay, is he going to get sacked, because the club have showed already that they've failed in that aspect in not removing him already. So the fact that he's won this game, you probably say that. I mean, I heard talk of November. Do I believe he gets sacked in November? Like I'm not interested in that no more, because I just can't see it. When you've got the owner, the part owner coming out saying he deserves 3 years, which is just laughable. Like why now am I going to be wasting my energy saying Ruben Amorim's going to get sacked? You know what I mean? The facts are this game now is going to buy him time. Do I think it's right that he gets bought time because of this result? I don't. Because if you're a serious ownership, you look at the bigger picture. And that's what I always do. I look at the bigger picture and I just know that this manager is not going to take Manchester United where they need to go. He's actually fortunate to still be in the job. But again, this result, I think owners like the owners that Man United have, and I'm hoping that they're not actually looking at this, but they'll probably look at the fact that because he's won this game, let's give him more time. And that could be the biggest problem that they actually do. Because I can guarantee this now, yeah? Man United's next 3 games are Brighton, Nottingham Forest and Tottenham, yeah? I guarantee this now. A lot of fans are all excited because Man United beat Liverpool. And again, I'm one of them. I'm happy that United have beat Liverpool, of course. They're the rivals. But I guarantee this now, if Man United don't pick up a win in either of those 3 games, you're going to quickly see a lot of these fans that are now saying Amorim has to stay. You're going to quickly see the tide turn. And this is the problem. With me, I'm going to stay consistent like I always do. I still want this manager gone, regardless of a result against Liverpool. Yeah? But we're going to have to see what happens against these next three teams, man. Because, again, if Man United don't beat Brighton, this win will just be for bragging rights, as I said. Right, guys, I'm going to go through some of your comments and questions, and then we're going to get into the Liverpool talk. Let's see. Yeah, I agree, man. Bruno made one good cross all game. Yeah, listen, Bruno wasn't good. I think if anyone's saying Bruno played well, it's purely because, you're either a Bruno fan or you're blind to the fact that Bruno can do no wrong. I think Bruno done some decent things in the game, but the majority of the time, he doesn't really contribute to a good display to the team. But if we're going to look at the fact that Bruno Fernandez provided the cross to Maguire for the goal, but we're going to ignore the fact that the game could have gone a different way, in a sense of if he didn't score that chance that was laid on the plate for him by Ahmad, if one of them Cody Gakpo chances goes in, all of a sudden we're looking at the fact that Bruno missed that chance. So again, people need to put it into context, yeah? That because Bruno was the one that put the cross in for Maguire, don't hide away from the fact that it wasn't a great display. And I think everyone needs to be honest with themselves and just say that, So Isak is dead food. Listen, we're gonna get on to Liverpool talk in a bit and later at 5. So, guys, if you do want to come, if you do want to discuss Isak, make sure you guys come through at 5 o'clock, and we're gonna discuss Alexander Isak, man. We will, because there's a few players we got to discuss, and but yeah, make sure you guys come through at 5. So Maguire played because we were never gonna play a high line. But that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense because I mean, what do I say to that really? Maguire played because we were never gonna play a high line. I disagree. I disagree because Maguire only played really because of the experience. I don't think Amorim went into that game saying we're not gonna play a high line, so that's why Maguire played. Because at the end of the day, if Man United were at home against Liverpool, I think he plays De Ligt, Euro, and Luke Shaw. And I think what you need to realize as well is, again, when if we look at it now, yeah, it's gonna look like a good decision playing Harry Maguire because he got the winner. But as I said, yeah, if you look at Liverpool's attackers, there's really no point playing Maguire against those three because those three are mobile attackers. And the thing is, what does Maguire struggle with? Mobility. So it was obvious that Lenny Yoro had to come in to match up the pace against Gakpo. De Ligt could deal with Isak, and Shaw would deal with Mo Salah. But again, he started with Maguire, and it paid off in the end because he got the header. But let's put it into context. That game could have gone the wrong way, and we're not sitting here saying that he played Maguire because we're never going to play a high line. You know what I mean? He played Maguire purely because of his experience. Because I guarantee you this now, if Harry Maguire was 20 years of age and didn't have the experience that he had, he doesn't play that game. I promise you. It's only because it was away to Liverpool at Anfield. You know, and Maguire has experience. He's an England international. He's got experience of playing at Anfield before. So I disagree, man. I don't think he only played because United weren't going to play a high line. Yeah, he played because of his experience. You know. So De Ligt, how can you say that when you can't possibly be watching every defender? Gabriel's better. Well, easy. For me, De Ligt's the best defender in the league right now. I'll go as far and say the world. I'm not saying Gabriel isn't good, but I'll take De Ligt ahead of Gabriel. Like, it's as simple as that. It's my opinion. You know what I mean? So, yeah, listen, man. I wouldn't swap any defender right now for Matthias De Ligt. You know, I think if people are not really studying De Ligt's game, you know, he's reading of the game, his pace, his strength, his aerial dominance, then I'm sorry, I'm not sure what game you guys are watching because Matthias De Ligt he's been the best defender in this league this season, hands down. I'd argue that with anyone. So, yeah, Gabriel's been good, but he ain't been better than De Ligt. You know, he hasn't for me. Guys, come on, smash the likes. We've got 27 of you watching at the moment and 11 likes. If you're enjoying the content, you know, make sure you guys smash the like, help the channel to grow. And then again, make sure you sub to the channel if you're new in here as well. Should I go through a few of the comments? Big up to Exedra, big up my guy, each and every time. Big up to Jay as well. So, I mean, there are tactical ways to give Ahmad freedom as a wing-back, but Ahmad has a monstrous engine. Great defense and even better offense. Yeah, listen, man. I'm a massive fan of Ahmad. And as I said the other day, yeah, the only reason Ahmad plays under Ruben Amorim is purely because he's got an engine. Because I guarantee you now, if he didn't have an engine, Ahmad wouldn't play as much as he does now, because it's quite obvious, as I said, this manager doesn't like the actual technicians. He doesn't like technicians in his team. So yeah, the fact that Ahmad's got an engine this is why he's getting game time, really. But I just hope, that we can see Ahmad in a more attacking position. And again, the only way this is going to happen is through a change of management and a change of system. Because I guarantee you now, you get Ahmad in the 10, Ahmad goes to another level. Because I think right now, people are sleeping on Ahmad, on how good he is. Again, I've spoken about this previously, yeah? You've got Sunderland fans, saying that he's the best ever player they've had at their club. And that was a guy that was on loan, not even on a permanent. That's how good Ahmad is. And again, if you get Ahmad in a thriving system where he can play as the 10, and have more like a free role, and he's got the engine as well to track back, Ahmad's gonna go to another level. You're gonna be talking about Ahmad as one of the best players in the world. I think he's that good. And again, I remember having this conversation with a funny enough, a Liverpool fan years before. He was actually laughing when I said Ahmad, because he went to me that what did he say to me? I said to him, Ahmad could be, not in terms of numbers, but he can be on the same kind of talk that they talk about Mo Salah. Now, people might laugh at that because Salah, again, numbers-wise, has been doing it season in, season out. But Ahmad's not someone that's going to get the numbers of Salah. But in terms of performance and quality, he's got much more quality than a Mo Salah. No one can argue that. So again, if Ahmad goes to a number 10 position where he can just focus purely on his attack, you're going to see a guy that's going to go to another level. I'm pretty sure of that, man, because he's a top player. And again, the fact that he's got the engine that he has, this is why Amorim plays him. So United have won 2 games on the bounce, and now the fans think they're title challengers. But this is the problem, yeah. With me, yeah, I'm not gonna get carried away because I'm a realist, and the realism in me is not gonna say Man United have won this game and all of a sudden now we're gonna get top 4, top 6. My predictions at the start of the season with the squad that United have should be minimum top 6. With this manager, I don't see them finishing in the top half. At the moment they're 8th, I think, or 9th. But again, there's not much in it. And you know what makes me laugh, yeah? To think that Manchester United as well, yeah, have been that bad, and yet they find themselves 3 points off of Man City in second. And I think what that tells you, yeah, that doesn't tell you how good Man United are. It tells you how bad the league is. Because if we're thinking of Manchester United winning, 4 games, which has been against Sunderland, Burnley, Chelsea and Liverpool. And the Chelsea game, we're looking at 10 men, which was a different game. 2 promoted sides in Burnley and Sunderland. And then you think of the game yesterday against Liverpool. Yeah. Looking at those games that United have won and the other games where they've lost or drawn, and United find themselves 3 points off of second place Man City, that just shows you how poor the league is. I'd argue that of anyone, because that isn't nothing to say that Man United have been good. Man United to be 3 points off a second is poor, and it just shows you how poor the league is, really. And this is the thing, man. This is the thing. But again, do I think United are going to be title challengers? Nah, listen, man. Let's just keep it in perspective that it's one of them things that United got the result yesterday, but these next 3 games, against Brighton, Forest, and Tottenham, let's see what happens, because this manager, if we're being honest, has been getting away with it. I mean, you could say yesterday, they were fortunate, and again, when you're going away to a rival, if you're going to win a game, you have to get fortunate. But to think that Liverpool hit the post twice, hit the bar once, and then you think of Mbeumo's goal, could it have been saved? Bruno missing the chance to go 2-0 up. This is football for you. And yeah, it's one of them things, man, that we have to just be consistent, and keep our eye on it, and just think, yeah, good result, but what we're gonna do next game against Brighton? That's the main thing. Yes, Gav. United finally remember who the fuck they are. Yeah, listen, man. As I said, let's just be happy with the result. But you know what I mean. I'm not gonna get carried away. I'm not, because I've seen too many things from this team and the manager to remain cautious, should I say? So, but yeah, good result against the rival, and Liverpool now they're in trouble, man. And that's the main thing. Guys, anyone coming on my channel disrespecting any of my mods and I see it, you're gonna be timed out. It's as simple as that. I don't care who you are. If you come on my channel and you're chatting shit, then you're gonna be timed out. If you're here to contribute to the channel and you've got your own opinion, that's fine. But as soon as I see anyone that disrespects any of my mods, you're gonna be blocked or timed out. Adam Bennett says, "Who do you think is winning El Clasico?" Do you know what? It's going to be a good game, man, because whoever wins that game goes top. And what I would say is, I mean, Barca winning the other game against Girona the other day, 2-1. Ronald Araujo, told you about Araujo, man. Very good defender. One of the best defenders for me in the world as well. Mbappe getting a goal, another goal. And you know what's crazy, yeah? You think of Mbappe, Harry Kane, and Erling Haaland, yeah? These guys are going head to head. I mean, Kane got a goal for Bayern against Dortmund. Haaland got 2 against Everton. And then Mbappe got the winner yesterday for Real Madrid. And these guys are it's funny, yeah, because it looks like these guys are all pushing each other. And it's crazy. I mean, I'm not gonna bet against Barcelona for me. Barca's my team. I think it's going to be interesting to see who's at home. I think if Barca are playing at the Camp Nou, I think they win the game. If they're away, possibly a draw. You know, but again, it's going to be a good game. And I think El Clasico for me over the last few years hasn't been the El Clasico of old. You know, this one could be decent. To be fair, it could be. So yeah. Yeah, big up, got my guy Zedra. Yeah, listen, Casemiro is our best midfielder. He is. People are just getting onto Casemiro because of his wage. You know, you hear so many fans saying he's lost his legs, he's lost this. But what you need to realize, yeah, is that if you're gonna play Casemiro as a man-for-man presser in midfield, he's gonna be looking out of sorts. That's just obvious because that ain't his game. He never done that for Real Madrid. You know, he was more of the I wouldn't. Well, more of the destroyer in a sense that will get the ball and give it to Toni Kroos and Luka Modric. In this system now, the responsibilities are different, which is why I'm saying Kobe Minu for me can't figure in this team as a 2 in midfield. So yeah, man. As I said, man, it's one of them things where as long as Casemiro, you know, if the gaps are not too much in the between midfield and defense, you get a better Casemiro. But when he's asked to be going man for man pressing, you know, you're going to expose a Casemiro because he's getting older and he definitely needs to be protected in these games. So, but yeah, listen, man, there's no one that's going to tell me that he isn't our best midfielder. He is. I think anyone with a functioning brain knows that Casemiro is Man United's best midfielder still, you know. And again, another assured display yesterday from Casemiro. So Mick Whelan says, stop this shoehorning players in. It's frustrating to watch. You said we are building, then fucking build. Yeah, listen, Mick, I agree, man. The shoehorning of players is going to be his downfall because, again, I've not even spoken about Joshua Zirkzee, yeah? Because This manager clearly doesn't rate Joshua Zirkzee. And it's testament to Joshua Zirkzee's attitude, yeah, that even after the game, you know, he comes on, you see him having a little joke with Bruno Fernandez. The guy's attitude is exemplary, really, because if I'm Joshua Zirkzee and I'm not getting the minutes that I deserve, you know, I'm not being quiet. I'll be honest with you. So it just shows you, man, that Xerxes, man, is still remaining professional. But as I said, man, it's one of them things where this man just shoehorning certain players is going to be his downfall. Ultimately, it's going to be his downfall. To think that you got Bruno, Mason Mount, Diogo Dallo, those three in particular, that you can tell are favourites of the manager. These guys are being shoehorned into the team at the expense of better players. So this is the problem, you know. Do you think the game should have been stopped with the head injury? Yeah, so I think I spoke about this earlier. It's a difficult one because any head injury you would think should be stopped immediately. But I think the reason why it wasn't stopped is because the collision come from his own player. Because I reckon if it was Mbuemo that actually elbowed McAllister, the referee probably stops it. You know, it's difficult really because if there's a rule to say any head injury, the game gets stopped straight away, then the referee failed. But I don't know if there's a rule to say if there's a head injury, it has to be stopped straight away. So it's difficult. It's difficult really because, as I said, I think if it was Mbuemo on McAllister rather than Van Dijk, the ref probably, yeah, does stop the game. Yeah, Bruno's not a number 10, man. I don't know. Everyone keeps saying this. Bruno's not a 10. He never has been a 10. He's a number 8. Yeah, he's a number 8. He can play as a 10 in a different system, but people seem to think that Bruno's this number 10. He's never been a number 10. He's never been. There's a difference between saying someone's a number 10 and someone that can play in a number 10. That's a difference. I'll give you an example. Jack Grealish, yeah, is a number 10. Yeah, he's a number 10 that can play in the 10 and can play out wide. That's a difference. Bruno Fernandez is not a 10. He's a number 8, but he can play in the 10. Again, these things might sound a bit confusing to a few people, but yeah, I think people need to understand the difference from someone being a number 10 and being a number 8. And again, once a few of you become once there's a few more members in there, I'll be doing a live Q&A, and we're going to discuss something similar to what I'm talking about, because it's good to get a difference of understanding to see how people see certain players. So, yeah, so big up yourselves, man. Once you guys become a member, or there's a few more members we get in there, again, I'll be doing a live Q&A, man, and we'll be focusing on something like that. Let's see. Yeah, listen, I don't think Cunha looked rusty. I think Cunha's looked rusty in a few other games, but I thought he was very good yesterday, man. Some of his touches and his strength on the ball, man. Like, yeah, the amount of times he alleviates pressure from the team as well. I think people need to look at that. You know, when you're away at Anfield and you're under pressure, you need someone that can take the ball in tight spaces and draw fouls and hold on to the ball. And the fact that he's strong, the fact that he's durable, and the fact that he's got skill as well, he's a perfect player for that role. You know, so yeah, he was class yesterday, man. He was class. Big up to Mike. Big up, Mike. Again, another Ronaldo or Messi. Messi. There's no debate over Messi and Ronaldo, man. Messi's by far the superior player, man. Come on. Big up to Rogue Phantom, says, Liverpool fan here. Congrats on your win. We were outplayed. You know what? I disagree, man. I mean, I've heard a lot of this. Man United outplayed Liverpool. That's not the game that I saw. You know, and again, if anyone thinks that Man United outplayed, um, if Man United outplayed Liverpool, then please let me know because, or please put it in the chat because that's not the game that I saw. I just saw United got an early goal and there was a couple of bits of good passage of play, and Liverpool couldn't. I mean, Liverpool got the equaliser, but they couldn't. Yeah, they couldn't get the winner. But to say that Man United outplayed Liverpool, that didn't happen. I watched the whole game, yeah, and there's not at one bit did I think United outplayed them. I think there was parts of the game where United put some good passes together, but to say that United outplayed them, yeah, I think that's just going over the top, and I don't believe that. So yeah, there's no way that I'm gonna sit here, you know, happy that United won the game, but I'm gonna say that United outplayed Liverpool because that didn't happen. Yeah, Bruno has been poor this season. He has, but again, people are not gonna get onto Bruno because he's got this shield around him that he can do no wrong, you know. And as I said, you know, I keep saying it. That yesterday, that chance he missed was a poor chance that he missed because everything was in favour. He was running onto the ball. He had no one opposing him. The pace on the ball was perfect. All he had to do was hit the target, and he misses the target. And again, guys, hitting the post, hitting the bar counts as off target. It's not an on-target shot. So, again, he missed the target. Just before anyone says he hit the post, which doesn't make it better because that counts as off target. Gav, opinion on Hansi Flick red card and Araujo playing striker. I didn't see the Hansi Flick red card, but I see Araujo's finish. And to be fair, his finish was very good. But yeah, listen, man, sometimes when you're trying to get a winner, you know, managers do this. And why not? You know, you got to force the issue. The amount of times Harry Maguire's done that, you know, he's been thrown up top and then ends up nicking a goal. Like, as I said, man, I'm a massive fan of Ronald Araujo. I think he's the closest kind of defender to a Virgil van Dijk in terms of his stature, leadership, etc. So, and again, his finish yesterday was class. You know, so yeah, man. Happy that Barca got the win. Sets up a good El Clasico next week, or this week, should I say? Wow, that's high praise, Gav. I'd say Gabriel's comparable and done it for longer. Listen, Gabriel's a good defender. I'm not saying he's not, yeah, but I'm not taking Gabriel over De Ligt. I'm not. I don't care what anyone says. I'm not taking Gabriel over De Ligt. And again, I like left-footed centre backs because I'm left-footed myself, so I have a preference to left footers, yeah. But I'm taking De Ligt over Gabriel. Like I'm not gonna change my mind. I think De Ligt is going under the radar. Like De Ligt is by far, you know, one of the best defenders in the world. He is. He is. He's a top player, man. Top player. Yeah, big up Mike. He is, man. He is. And again, I'm gonna say he's the. I'm not even gonna say the league. I don't see a defender in the world better than De Ligt right now. People can say Gabriel, Van Dijk obviously is up there, even though he weren't great yesterday. But yeah, man, I'm taking De Ligt, man, because De Ligt's just been he's been United's. He's not only been United the best defender in the league, but he's been United's best player this season so far. Yeah, big up to Rogue Phantom. As I said, we're gonna get into some Liverpool talk at 5 o'clock. We're gonna touch on Liverpool's team selection in a bit as well, because I think he got that wrong. But yeah, we're gonna do some more Liverpool talk at 5 p.m. with Jonas, obviously, who's a Liverpool fan. And guys, if anyone wants to come onto the stream at 5 o'clock and have their say, whether you're a Man United fan or Liverpool fan, let me know, and then I can obviously send you the link over, and yeah, we can have a discussion at 5 o'clock. Let me know. I'm amazed Real Madrid haven't gone in for Ahmad. Yeah, listen. I think it's difficult because if you're thinking of Mastantuano, Goulet can play out there as well. Rodrigo's still there. It's not. It's something that they probably haven't thought about. But what I would say is, does Ahmad have the talent and the ability to play for a Real Madrid, a Barcelona? 100% he does. He does. And again, if you put Ahmad in a team that dominates the ball 9 times out of 10, and he can just focus on his attacking strengths, I'm telling you now, Ahmad goes to another level. He does. He goes to another level because he's that good. And this is the guy that's playing at wing back, and he's having to do a lot of his work going the wrong way. So, nah, listen. Do you know what, guys? I've just seen a comments from big up to Rogue Phantom says, all due respect though, United said the same about Garnacho. And what I'm gonna say this year, what I'm gonna say there to Rogue Phantom, if you're still watching, I know exactly where you've got that from, yeah? And this is what I'm trying to tell you. You see people like that person on that channel, he doesn't know nothing about football. That's the actual truth. Like, he's built up a massive following, but in terms of just knowing your football and studying football, this is something that I've been doing for years, for my 30 plus years. So when someone comes out and says that Real Madrid are going to go for Garnacho, all that person was doing there, I'm not going to mention his name because I think a lot of you probably know who that is, yeah? All I'm going to say there is that that was that person doing Garnacho's PR. Now, it's fun. It's very funny now that it's come to light that Garnacho, you know, in terms of his character, in terms of his level, was never going, like, the guy's now actually changed his opinion on Garnacho. And again, this is what I'm trying to say to you. My opinions are my opinions, and I stick to my opinions. But to say that Garnacho had the ability to go to Real Madrid, any normal person would know that's not true. Because where would Garnacho get a game? Do you think he's going to get ahead of Vinicius Jr.? Do you think even Mbappe can play out there? Rodrigo's a left winger. So when people are saying Garnacho has the potential to go to Real Madrid, it's actually a lie. And it's just that that person is trying to fool. That person is trying to fool a lot of his followers, you know. And someone like myself is never going to be able to change my mind or fool me because I know too much football. I've seen too much football. So again, when you're saying that, all due respect though, United said the same about Garnacho, like, I want to know who you're talking about there because I'll tell you this now. It's not any United fan that has a brain because there's no part of me, like, to think that Garnacho is all the players that have come through the youth academy into Man United's first team, he's the worst one. But yet he's the one that people think could go to Real Madrid. Like, it's an absolute lie. Like, and again, I know where that's come from, but that's never come on this channel. So, and that will never come on this channel because we're not deluded over here. You know, we talk the truth. So, yeah, big up for your comment, man. But yeah, to think that you think that people said that, yeah, listen, that hasn't come from here, man. 100%. From the UK, man. Big up to Catch My Drift from the UK. The quality has gone down in the league. 100% it has. It has. I think when you're looking at who the best player in the league, the league is, yeah. Whereas before, you'd be able to say 3 or 4 players comfortably, and you couldn't be able to pick someone. Right now, I couldn't tell you who the best player in the league is. People will probably say Erling Haaland only because of his numbers. But if I look at the purest footballer, you can't really say who the purest footballer is, the best player. You know, it's hard to say. I mean, I'm going to look at, I mean, you got Rodri, but he's injury prone. Again, I've mentioned Haaland, but Haaland's more for the numbers, not for the actual ability of the player. Then you go to Chelsea, Cole Palmer, Moises Caicedo. I mean, you've got talents that are top talents, but again, the question of have they been doing it for longer might come into it. So I'm trying to say to you that's how much the league has fallen because you can't actually say who the best player in the league is. People, I think if you ask anyone right now, they're immediately going to say Erling Haaland, and that's only going to be based off of numbers. because I can't actually tell you who the best is, because that's how bad football has become now. You know, I'd argue that with anyone. Jude is 22 years old. Ahmad is nowhere that level. Listen, and again, sometimes you get comments here that you have to laugh at, yeah? If you think Jude Bellingham, yeah, is a better talent or better player than Ahmad, then again, that just shows me that you don't know that you don't know football, really. Again, it's your opinion, but to say that Jude is 22 and Ahmad is nowhere near that level, you're only saying that because Jude Bellingham is at Real Madrid. And again, Jude Bellingham is at Real Madrid because of PR, not because he's an outstanding footballer. You need to realize that, you know, because if you're going to compare Jude Bellingham and Ahmad as two players side by side, Bellingham's nowhere near the level of Ahmad as a footballer. He's not. But what Jude Bellingham has, and I talked about this before, he has PR on his side. And PR would allow you to get certain places. Again, if people don't think this is a true thing, then I suggest you get your head screwed on. Because that has to be probably the poorest comment today so far, to say that Ahmad is nowhere near Jude Bellingham. You're only saying that because Bellingham's at Real Madrid, and you're thinking that Bellingham is this supreme talent to say that that's why he's at Real Madrid, and it's not that. So, again, everyone's free to their opinion, but that's an opinion that I just don't rate, man, because Bellingham's, what, a year younger than Ahmad, and you're saying that Ahmad's nowhere near him. That's a lie, you know? Yeah, listen, Rogue Phantom, Ahmad is a 10. Like, he is actually a 10. Like, there's a reason they were calling him the Ivorian Messi at Atalanta. Like, that name didn't get plucked out of thin air. They called him that for a reason, you know? And I think, don't look at the fact that Ahmad is playing wing back as to think that he can't play as a 10. Like, just have a broader kind of vision for that, because the manager is playing him there because of his engine. Because if Ahmad never had an engine, he either wouldn't be playing or wouldn't be playing as a wing back. So, yeah, don't look at the fact that Ahmad's playing there to say he can't play as a 10. The guy is actually a number 10. He's a number 10 that can play out wide. But he's having to do a job as a wing back because of how the manager sees the game. So, again, he's a goal threat. He can create. And most importantly as well, you know, he can get around the pitch because he's got an engine. So, yeah, 100%, man. He's a top player. So can I ask somewhat Liverpool-based question? Do you think Slot will be under pressure job-wise? Of course he'll be. Of course he'll be. If we're being honest, yeah. As a Liverpool manager, to lose 4 games in a row is unacceptable, really. You know, and to think that they've spent 100 million on Isak, 100 plus million on Isak, 100 million plus on Florian Wirtz, and they're looking like two players that were a waste of money. You know, so yeah, he will come under pressure. You know, again, it's only 8 games into the season, so people will say it's early days still, but one thing's for certain, man, they're going to need to get back onto track very soon. And I think the problem is, yeah, he hasn't got a settled team, because is it Isak? Is it Ekatike? Does Wirtz start? You know, we'll go on to their team now, actually, as we're talking about it. But I think the decision to start Conor Bradley was poor. And I'll tell you why, yeah, because Mason Mount was going to play, as I said. And it was either going to be Cunha or Sesko, and it chose to be Cunha. So Mason Mount was always going to play on the left-hand side. So to counteract Mason Mount, it would have been a good idea for him to play Dominic Szoboszlai at right back, which he eventually did anyway. And then you play your Florian Wirtz as a 10. Yeah? Or what he could have done is play Jeremy Frimpong to use Frimpong's pace against Mason Mount. But the fact that he played Conor Bradley, and Conor Bradley is a decent right back, but Conor Bradley was never really going to be a game changer in that sense. So that was the first mistake he done by playing Conor Bradley. I think Bradley would have been better coming on and starting with Szoboszlai there or Frimpong. I mean, Kirkes, to be honest with you, He's looking like a liability. I'm not sure if Robertson was on the bench. So I could see Kirkes starting, but he was a liability. And then you've got, I mean, the midfield wasn't the issue really. Gravenberch, McAllister, I knew they were going to play. I think Mo Salah, for me, Mo Salah was always going to start. But again, if you're a manager that has anything about you and you've watched Salah's last few games, sometimes you've got to make big decisions. And it probably would have been best just to put Salah on the bench and then let Salah come on, knowing that he's got to prove himself off the bench. And then Ekatike and Isak, probably should have started Ekatike. You know, so there was a few things that he got wrong. And but again, these are the kind of decisions that managers live and die by. And I think the fact that he made those decisions to not start certain players and, you know, go with other players, ultimately could have been a downfall. But 100%, man, he's under pressure. 100%. So no one is being shoehorned. Amorim played the best lineup for the game. Simple as. No, he didn't. Players are being shoehorned. So I don't know what you're talking about there, Ahmad. Players are being shoehorned into the team. Just because United won the game, like look at that look at that in isolation. Because United won the game, but Dallow's being shoehorned into this team because now it means that Dorgu's on the bench, or Ahmad might be on the bench, or Mazraoui, even though Mazraoui's better in the as a defender in the free. Bruno Fernandez is being shoehorned because Bruno Fernandez is not a 10, and in a 2 in midfield, he's not a 2 in midfield, so he's being shoehorned into the team. Mason Mount's being shoehorned into the team. So there's loads of players that are being shoehorned into the team. There's players that are not even playing in their right positions, i.e. Brian Mbeumo. Brian Mbeumo's a winger playing as a number 10. Ahmad's a number 10 playing as a wingback. So when you're saying players are not being shoehorned into the team, they are. So I advise you to watch the game properly, man. Man United won the game, fair enough, but don't be delusional to say that there's no one being shoehorned. Like, watch the game properly, man. United need players to play where the tactic is they just don't. Guys, come on, there's 42 of you in there watching. 16 likes. Smash the like button and sub to the channel if you're enjoying the content. Big up yourselves. Just going through some of your chats. Yeah, at least a top player, man. Top player. He is. So Ahmad is not bad, but Jude is a leader. So what does that have to do with what's that got to do with anything, really? So Ahmad is not bad, but Jude is a leader. What's the context there? So you think Bainham's a leader, which I disagree. What makes him a leader? What, because he shouts and he punches the ground and he gets the crowd up? That's not a leader. That's just play into the crowd. That's PR. So I disagree with that. But again, what does that mean? That means nothing. Like you're like you've said that Ahmad is 23 and Jude's 22. So and Ahmad's nowhere near his level, which ain't true. Which ain't true. How about Jude's not nowhere near Ahmad's level as a player in terms of ability? How about that? Because for me, if we're gonna compare Ahmad and Jude Bellingham as football players in terms of quality, Jude Bellingham hasn't got more quality than Ahmad. He hasn't. I'd argue that with anyone. He hasn't. So again, what's the context, man? Yeah, Kvaratskhelia is a top player. He's a top player, Kvaratskhelia. He is. So they bought some solid players this summer after winning the league. So I really can't see Liverpool struggling for too long. Yeah, listen, I think eventually they're gonna get wins. You know what I mean? They are eventually gonna get wins. I think again we can laugh at Liverpool and say that they're struggling, but yeah, listen, eventually they will be getting some wins on the board, man. You'll have to believe that. But there's no denying, man. They're actually struggling right now. Who would have thought Liverpool would go 4 games without a win? Because I think there's no one here that would have predicted that. So yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy work. It is. But guys, listen up. Big up yourselves for coming through each and every time. As I said, we're gonna be back at 5 o'clock, and we're gonna get more into the Liverpool talk. There was a few things I was gonna say, but I'm gonna save it for the 5 o'clock chat with Jonas. Obviously, Jonas is a Liverpool fan, and he's a Liverpool fan, so we're gonna ask him some hard hitting questions, man, because we need answers because this team are in problems. There's a few players I want to speak to him about, and there's a few issues that I want to see if Arne Slott's going to change it. So yeah, guys, make sure you guys come through at 5 o'clock. And again, if you guys want, if you're a Liverpool fan, or if you're a Man United fan or Arsenal fan or whoever, Chelsea fan, and you guys want to jump on the stream and have a conversation with myself or Jonas, then let me know. Obviously, I can send you over the link and you guys can get involved in the conversation. So yeah, just let me know whether you come on the live stream and you message me on there. I can send you the link over. So yeah, let me know, guys. But yeah, we're going to be back at 5 o'clock. So yeah, make sure you guys come and show us some support. Big up to all the mods as well. Big up to all the newcomers coming through. And as I said, make sure you guys smash the like button and make sure you guys sub to the channel as well. Yeah, make sure you sub to the channel if you haven't done so already. Sonero says, man's flexing. I'm not flexing, man. I'm just chatting to you guys, man. It's normal, man. It's normal. Big up to Master for Vetagren for subbing. Yeah, big up, man. Appreciate it. As I said, man, opinions are opinions, but you know, when I don't agree with an opinion, then it's my right to give my reply, man. But listen, your opinion will never be put down on this channel. You know, I like difference. I like different conversations. I like differences of opinion. That's what it's about. And again, we're not going to agree on every point, but I think that's what debate's about, man. And I enjoy it. So yeah, big up yourself, man. But I can't have Bainham's better than Ahmad. Nah, I can't have that, man. But guys, big up yourselves each and every time, as I said. Catch you guys at 5 o'clock. As I said, if you guys do want to get involved in the chat today at 5 with myself and Jonas, we're going to be putting him on the spot. Just let me know. I can send you over the link and you can get involved. And yeah, it'd be good to have some different voices on there as well. But yeah, guys, big up yourselves. Smash the like button, sub to the channel. And I'll catch you guys at 5. Take it easy.